Right, guys. Back again with another question.
Go for it, bro.
So this one, title of this email is called Right Time to Get Married. And in the email it says, Salam brothers, walaikum salam. You lot are smashing on TikTok. Thank you very much. You brothers make me crease all the time. My question to you guys is, what age do you think is the right time to get married? I'm in my first year of uni. I've never been in a haram relationship. I want to get married soon, but I'm not sure if it's the right age for me, because I feel like most people who are getting married these days are finding themselves in some sort of haram relationship before they actually get married. I don't want to follow that path, but with all the fitna around me, I'm not sure.
Sorry.
I don't think you boys have covered this topic before, so it'll be interesting to hear from you boys. Thank you very much.
It's a very interesting
Very
question,
good question, actually.
But in honesty, this thought has actually come into my head, man. I think it's an important conversation to have.
Yeah, because there's a lot of boys, a lot of guys around that age who are having that sort of dilemma.
So let's just
Is that a guy?
It's a guy, yeah.
Okay.
It's a guy.
So let's just recap, yeah. So basically, his main question is more associated, in the sense, his question
is basically what's the best time to get married, because he's
considering Islam, right? Like considering the risk of him, basically doing fitna, like a sin, basically, yeah.
So he's basically in his first year uni. So I'm guessing he's what, 19?
How old is he?
He doesn't say, but his first uni, from 19, 20, I think.
Yeah,
19.
19, yeah.
Okay, very young.
Man, he's got a long way to go, innit? Well, first of all, how's he gonna find someone to get married? He's gonna need to find another girl who's also on the same page as him. Doesn't want.
And are women on that same page these days?
Oh man,
I don't think so, innit?
bro. You know what? It's just so interesting, innit? It's like, so about 20 years ago, most men and girls especially, they would be getting married in the early 20s and stuff, right? But nowadays, for example, most girls, Desi girls, sorry, I should say, right, they're looking to get married past the point where they're above 25 to around 30, roughly, I'm just saying. There's nothing wrong with either one of those options. Some and I think how the mindset has changed is because people feel that below the age of 25, you're still too young mentally, and you know you haven't matured properly, and you know you're open to be making mistakes and all that sort of stuff and whatnot. You won't be able to deal with certain challenges that come along with marriage. So that's the downside. As long as you're both willing to take a little bit of guidance from people who are experienced and stuff. But then I think the trouble is nowadays, who wants the guidance from others as well? Like,
people don't take. Really they don't want the advice.
I think more importantly, obviously from a religious standpoint, it's better to avoid the risk of you committing a sin.
Yeah. No, but he mentioned a very valid point. He's saying that most people nowadays, like when they are getting into like love marriage and stuff, they're finding themselves in haram relationships, innit? And that's pretty much the case for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, and I get where his concern is, because he probably doesn't want to commit any sins or anything. He doesn't want to be in a relationship, but he still probably wants to get married at that age, 19, 20.
I think
so.
It's a fair point to have, but I think especially when you're that young, especially this generation, they think marriage is just love, when you love someone, but what they don't realize is love is just one aspect of a marriage. Before you want to get married to someone, there's so many other factors. First of all is, can you look after yourself? Can you look after the other person? Are you in a position where you're ready to have children? How your work, when you're 19, you're at uni, so you don't even know if you can work. So there's so many things, and that's why I think when you're young, you should be focusing on yourself to get yourself to be able to get married. So by that is working hard, doing extra work, part-time jobs, all of these things. And when you do these things, you won't have time to commit those fitna. You like all of these things, because you're focusing on yourself, and your intention has to be right. Your intention of marriage shouldn't be, I'm doing it because this person is pretty.
Having said that though, what do you think is the best age to get married then?
Me personally, again, everyone's mindset develops at a different age. I think for women, they quite early on, they can have that mature side to them. But for men, you know, I feel like 19, 20-year-old, you know, you're not going to be as mature as the same equivalent for a woman. So I would say for me, it should be about 26 onwards, because that's when you've finished studying or you're on that path of work and you've got that mindset of taking care of someone.
It's a bit of a catch-22 for me, because like when people say I want to get married, and I'm scared of going into haram at that young age, and they're probably only thinking, oh yeah, I'm just want to get married for the sake of fulfilling needs, right? What about everything else? What about everything else that comes with marriage? All the responsibilities, all the commitments, and, you know, providing a roof over the wife's head, and all the other stuff that comes with it. I don't think that at the age you're not thinking of that at the moment.
No, 100% not, man. And this is the point. Like, it's in, you know, at a young age, obviously your hormones are already all like high and all over the place and whatnot, yeah?
Especially 19, 20, man.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And obviously your surroundings, your friends, and whoever you see around at your age, you're seeing people go to certain places and, you know, enjoying life and whatnot.
First year uni as well.
Of course, look, you're going to be influenced. You're going to be influenced. You're going to see people enjoying themselves, staying up late, you know, associating with, for example, haram or whatever, or sinning. Right, and temptations will definitely be built. Right now, it's easy for someone to turn around and say, "Oh, you know, that's not a good enough reason for you to get married." Right, but at the same time, you also need to think to yourself, you know what? If, for example, this person has got so many temptations around them, as long as they can sort of help prepare themselves with the additional responsibility, and you know, they're ready to take on extra responsibility, and they understand and they understand what is associated with the marriage, then I think it's absolutely fine for them to get married at a young age. But at the same time, you know, for example, if for example that's not the case, if it's not just you know, the temptations and all that sort of stuff, and they can keep it in the pants, for example, then I would probably say, you know what, delay as much as possible. Like, as in
100% agree with that.
Delay as much as possible, become successful, focus on yourself, enjoy your life, make the most of your life, because once you're married, like, as in, life ain't the same. Like, as in, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's look, in life you've got different stages in life. There's a time for you to go. There's a time for you being a single person. You can go out, enjoy yourself. There's a time for you to get married, go on couple holidays and all that sort of stuff. And then there's a time where you just want to become a family man. It depends on yourself as an individual how much time you want to spend in each of those sections. Do you know what I mean?
100%. Some men, or at that age, they're just mature, like they're just ready for marriage. 18, 19, 20, they're just ready to take that step.
The mindset's there for them.
They're just a different breed, you know what I mean?
But it's very few.
There's very few. But I'm thinking about when I was 18, 19, bro, I was completely different. My mindset was completely different. Like, I remember when I was 18, 19, I didn't want to get married early as well.
You wanted to?
I wanted to, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to get married early. Thank God it didn't happen, because I was completely, like I said, I was a different person, man. Who I am now, like, I'm so grateful that I obviously I managed to hold off till now, because bro, like, the things you learn about yourself, how much you mature,
100%.
even financially, even you know what I mean, there's loads of things you got to learn about yourself before you actually get married. Remember, when you get married, you're sharing a life with another person, and if you haven't already figured yourself out, man, it's difficult, man.
Everyone needs to build tolerance, man. You know, while you're at a young age, you have a lot of impatience. You got ego, you've got pride and whatnot. And when you get married, you got to put all those things aside. That's the only way you're gonna make success of it.
But I would say though, 18, 19, if you can find a way to hold off those urges, right? Just forget about it. Keep yourself busy, bro. Keep yourself busy, and just like work on your dreams, work on like things that you want to do for yourself. And then when you're ready, bro, when the time's right, it will happen.
But you know what? Urges are fine to have, right? It's just dependent on whether you want to action the urges. So if you feel like you can't control yourself and you have no self-control, then you're not going to be ready for marriage. That's just a sign there, first and foremost. So if you're asking that question, saying,
Wait,
there's so
I'm
much...
not hearing that. Sorry, say that again.
So, for example,
Yeah.
say in this question, the person said, "Oh, you know, the fitna. There's so much fitna around me. You know, my urges. I've got needs. You know, if you can't control those needs, then you're not ready for marriage.
That's a weakness in itself. Bro.
That's one sign because, you know, you should be able to control it. So, the brother who said this question, you know, first thing is you need to train yourself into controlling your needs, because there's so many people in this world who have controlled their needs. Like there's a lot. You know, the people that can't control their needs, they're gonna struggle in their marriage,
Just what I was
or
trying to
they
say.
just don't. They're just too young.
At that age, most people aren't able to control. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let's be real, bro. At 18, 19, 20, most people can't. And if you can get through those years controlling them, then obviously you're fine tuning yourself into those years. And by the time you get to about 23, 24, you've probably already got a job. You've already got financially stable. You'll be good, man.
You know what the thing is, yeah? I think it's really, really tricky. I agree with you guys in one sense, yeah? But I also feel like the, you know, humans are built a certain way. Like as in you know, like as in these temptations, these urges or whatever you want to call it. It happens to everyone, right? The fact is we live in a society where basically it's accepted for you to go out, enjoy yourself, right, and do whatever you need to do to satisfy those urges. And this is why, if anything, that in itself is less frowned upon. But yet, for example, if somebody decides to take a larger step and try to actually get married at a young age, that's going to be more frowned upon.
I wouldn't say frowned upon.
It could be.
I wouldn't say frowned upon. It's just the fact that when most people's perception of a young lad trying to get married at 18, 19, it's like you're immature. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
that's the reason why I wouldn't say it's frowned upon.
So in contrast, say for example, another 18, 19-year-old who's going out, going to clubs and, like, you know, staying out late, enjoying, you know, going here and there, that's more accepted.
No, who says it's accepted?
But it is though, isn't it? That's what I'm trying to say.
In society, yeah.
Yeah, in society
yeah.
it is,
Yeah.
right? Nobody's gonna sort of, you know, comment about it. No one's gonna talk negative about it.
But that's because,
But for example, if the minute somebody gets married at the age of 19, 20, there's gonna be people saying, "Oh man, why did you get married so early, man? Why did you get married so early?" This, that, like what I mean is fine, fair enough. Maybe wrong choice of words when I said frowned upon, but I think it's definitely commented about a lot.
I agree, but I think, you know, it's two different things in the sense of when you said a young person is looking to get married, there's responsibilities involved, there's families involved. When it's someone that's just going out partying, having the time of their life, it's like no strings attached. They're not responsible for anything. So that's why it's accepted, because the effects isn't as negative. Whereas if you're married and you're getting married very young and your mindset, you're not mature enough, then the effects is life ruining for both you and your other half.
Yeah, but then to be fair, this person, for example, we like, as in, who are we to make that judgment of how mentally mature this person is? This person might have been thinking this sort of
100%.
stuff for ages, and in fact, for him not to mess up to the age of 19, I'm actually thinking, is he more mature than the average?
Yeah, it looks
age?
like it.
You
Sounds
know
like
what I
it.
mean?
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Right. So you know, he's probably got his head screwed on. Like, do you know what I mean?
definitely.
To the point where basically he's thinking, you know what, got 2 more years, gonna get my degree, get my job, but I don't want to delay the marriage. I know I'm on the right track. I know I will be able to do it. And to be honest with you, do you really need to have your own place? Do you really have to live separately? As long as you've got that mutual sort of understanding between the boy and girl, that look, temporarily for the next 2-3 years, we're gonna live under a parent's roof, and then after that, as we grow, we'll move out.
But the key is there, yeah, what you just mentioned, that's structure. Yeah, he's got it structured out. He's already got it planned out how he wants to live the next couple of years. Let's be honest, 18, 19, most people aren't like that, innit?
No,
They don't have
you're
that
right.
choice.
You're right.
You know what I'm
Most people ain't like that.
They're not.
But
they're
in
not.
terms of advice, because he's asking what is an advice that we can give, is like, for example, for myself, just think of it like this: the brother that's watching, yes, you have needs, but just think about how beautiful it is if you are able to control those needs for the person you're going to marry, whenever it is. So say when you have become more mature, you know, you've managed to secure a job, you know, you've built a foundation for yourself, or you're starting to build a foundation for yourself. You know, just think the needs that you're controlling, it will all be worth it, rather than I know there's so much fitna around you, but you should be more eager to control your urges.
Let me tell you, it's a powerful feeling knowing that you can control those urges, man. It's a powerful feeling,
and it's beautiful. You've held it, you've done strong. Now you've gotten married, and you're starting your marriage in the right way. That's what I do. That's what I tell myself. You know, that's how it should be. But again, you're young, you're immature. You know, it's
but
life.
Thinking from the female's perspective, would a female want to be married to someone as young, knowing that he's not really experienced life as much as someone that's, I don't know, 25, 26?
No, probably not.
Probably not, exactly.
Realistically, probably not.
Most likely not. I've always said this, man, like men's peak years are late 20s.
Way later, sorry.
Way later, man. Yeah, I think probably at 30s, probably, innit?
Yeah.
Whereas females probably like early 20s, man.
Yeah.
Because they got that maternal thing in them as well, isn't it? And
that's something to consider as well, man.
But there's a lot of factors in terms of maturity and stuff, like simple things like, imagine you live in a household full of your sisters, you've got sisters, your mom, your dad, you've got people there around you. That naturally in itself, it's nature versus nurture. You know, it depends on how you're being brought up. If you've been brought up in a household where, you know, people show each other respect and, you know, your parents teach you these things, then naturally you subconsciously be more mature. So it all just depends. There's so many different factors based on maturity, I think, isn't it?
100. Right, to finally answer the question then.
No, we haven't answered the question. What was the question?
Finally answer the question. I don't think it was a question. I think he's asking for opinion. But my opinion is, it sounds like you're on track. The fact that you questioned it in the first place.
Exactly.
It sounds like you're on track. Just keep going and live your life and be obviously in the means of Islam. And yeah, man, when the time's right, the right person will come.
Saqib, last advice?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say, look, if you're thinking about getting married, there's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, as in, loads of people, they do rush into that and think it's all going to be hunky dory. But then at the same time, when you do get married, and then there's the other sort of, you know, psychological impacts of getting married at a young age, and, you know, at the same time, you know, when arguments start happening, especially if you're not in a position where you can live fully independently, then you just need to bear that in mind and just think to yourself, would it be better if I wait a little bit longer or not?
Agree, 100%. What was the way?
Lastly, I think for me, first of all, if you're young, for example, or the brother, if you're watching, first think about yourself, look back and ask yourself, okay, who do I rely on? Or what do I rely on? And now those things you now need to work on and trying to make sure that you don't rely on nobody, right? That's the first step. So then once you can get past that stage, then you know you've become more independent. So you kind of have to look back at yourself, criticize yourself, see, okay, this is where I'm good at, this is what I'm not doing good at, this is what I need to improve on. You know, just keep growing, keep learning, because with time, you become more mature because you're seeing more, you're more aware, you know, and then naturally you just know within yourself when you're ready, isn't it? I think that's just what it is. But again, each to their own. Some people are way mature at a younger age and some people aren't, but you just have to figure it out for yourself.
100. That was sick. Right, guys, thank you so much. As always, please like, comment and subscribe. If you've got your own questions, send them across to Instagram and TikTok at After 5 Club. Send your emails in at after5club2023@gmail.com. Catch you guys later.
Peace. Take care.